So, here we are. It's 2021 and there is another missing episode animated release to be unboxed on my channel. The Web of Fear Special Edition Steelbook. This, I would have said from looking at the kind of previous releases of the missing episode animations that there have been over the past few years, this has been the most controversial one so far, I would have said. But why and how did we get to this point? In a ways, the story of this missing episode release goes back a decade now. In 2011, it was announced that episodes 2 of The Underwater Menace and episode 3 of Galaxy 4 Airlock were recovered from private collectors. However, this was just the beginning of missing episodes for 2011, as in Sierra Leone, a stack of 12 Doctor Who film cans were found. What these comprised of was the complete serials of The Enemy of the World and The Web of Fear. Previously, in terms of these two stories, the only episodes we did have of them were episodes 3 of The Enemy of the World and episode 1 of The Web of Fear, which were previously released in this set here, Lost in Time, back in 2004. Amongst the piles that were found of these cans in Sierra Leone was The Web of Fear episode 3. I've heard quite a few different stories behind this, but the most common one, as cited by the person that recovered the film prints, was that episode 3 of The Web of Fear was stolen during transaction whenever they were acquiring the prints. So as such, they couldn't get The Web of Fear episode 3 back to the television archives. This caused a prolonged announcement for these missing episode finds, with them eventually being announced in time for the 50th anniversary of the show, with The Enemy of the World being released on DVD that year, and then The Web of Fear being released in February of 2014 with a telesnap reconstruction of episode 3. And there was rumours going about that this would be animated, this particular episode at the time, and people were believing that since there was such a few month gap between The Enemy of the World and The Web of Fear DVDs, that the missing episode from this would be animated, but sadly it was not to be so. By this point, animating missing episodes of Doctor Who from serials that were almost complete, for example The Web of Fear was originally 6 episodes, 5 are found and 1 is missing, so it would be a common trend for stories like that case to be animated in terms of their missing episodes and for that to be released on DVD. For example, in 2013 alone, we had The Reign of Terror released with the surviving 4 episodes and the animations of episodes 4 and 5. The 10th Planet with the 3 surviving episodes and episode 4 being animated. The Ice Warriors with the surviving 4 episodes being presented and the missing 2 being animated. Then in 2016 we got a fairly big surprise, us Doctor Who fans, whenever The Power of the Daleks was then announced as having been animated for a release in time for its 50th anniversary. This was the first time that a completely missing Doctor Who story had been animated wholly, as this has no surviving episodes and this was 6 episodes long originally. And since the release of that Power of the Daleks animation, it has become a kind of a new sub-range to the Doctor Who DVDs, as it were, for these missing Doctor Who stories to be fully animated. We then had the Macra Terror with all 4 of its parts animated in both black and white and colour, which is another new kind of trend for these particular DVDs. We then had the Faceless ones, which by the kind of company's instructions / order in terms of who was commissioning the animations for all 6 of the episodes to be animated, despite there only being 4 missing episodes from this story. This was released so that the discs contained surviving episodes 1 and 3, as well as the animation for all 6 of the episodes, but there's a option on the discs here to watch the story either completely animated or to watch it in sequence with the surviving 2 episodes. We then had an updated version of The Power of the Daleks via this special edition. Then we had Fury from the Deep in 2020, and then in 2021 we got this, the Web of Fear special edition, with The Soul Missing episode 3 being animated, and also with The Evil of the Daleks being announced as being animated and released for September this year. So as you can tell, there has been a lot of history behind this particular Doctor Who DVD release. And for me personally, it's not hard to see why this is a fairly controversial release, as the animation itself, from what I have seen of that one clip on YouTube, is absolutely awful. And I guess we'll probably see more images of it whenever I go over the booklet contained within this particular release, but simply put, the animation looks absolutely awful. From the promo clip that has been uploaded on YouTube, I even saw one Twitter comparisons in that the Brigadier in the animated form looks like the Fat Controller from the Thomas the Tank Engine series, for example, and as well as the animation itself being very, very dodgy. And before this, the animations themselves have had a very mixed kind of general reception. I would have said that Power of the Daleks Special Edition, Faceless Ones and the Macro Terror have all been pretty well received, but Fury from the Deep and original Power of the Daleks have been pretty mixed, I would have said. So this is just another one to add to the kind of batch, I guess you could say, in terms of mixed receptions to missing episode animations, although I would have said this one's a bit more negative, I would have said, as the animation is by far and beyond the worst from what I have seen. Plus there isn't a terrible amount of special features contained within this particular re-release and special edition of the Web of Fear, particularly in comparisons to the Power of the Daleks special edition, which has just an absolute mountain of special features and 3 discs to it of contents, 2 of which are just the special features alone. But then again, that's the debut Patrick Troughton story and the first Regeneration story, so I could forgive it a bit. But point being, this has been quite a controversial Doctor Who missing episode release, I would have said, and I mainly got it because I'm absolutely crazy for 1960s Doctor Who. It's my favourite section of television of all time, and I'm very passionate about it and very interested in discussing these missing episode animations, and unboxing these steelbooks as I collect them is a very good way of doing so, I would have said. I'd like to make the interesting point here in that, as you could have seen, all of the missing episode animations as of recent have had both standard DVD releases and steelbook releases. Typically, I find that the steelbook covers are a lot better than the standard DVD releases of the missing episode animations. For the first time, I think this is the opposite, in which I actually slightly prefer the standard DVD cover of this missing episode animation, which I may buy eventually. But yeah, so for the front cover of this steelbook itself, we have BBC Doctor Who The Web of Fear Special Edition, PG logos. This particular release has only 2 discs, which is a bit unusual in comparisons to the previous Doctor Who missing episode kind of steelbooks, as they would normally have 3 discs or upwards in the case of the Power of the Daleks one. But yeah, still a nice kind of item to have, as it were, another kind of steelbook for the collection, another 1960s one for the collection. And then for the spine we have BBC Doctor Who The Web of Fear, little DVD code, PG and Blu-ray disc. And then we've got the kind of back cover of the steelbook kind of printed onto the card, with a Yeti here holding its web gun, the synopsis on the release and the story, what this release includes, and then here you've got the original cast and crew for the original 1960s transmission, as well as the crew for the animation for this release, and various other bits and pieces down here. Aspect ratio, main soundtrack, feature length, which is 145 minutes, the disc format, subtitles, and this release has audio navigation with a few other kind of bits and pieces down here, such as PG parental guidance. So then, taking the little cardboard slip off of the release, we have the artwork in its full glory, which still does look really nice, I would have said. Not the best steelbook artwork there is, I would have said, as I personally still absolutely love and adore the Fury from the Deep steelbook, I would have said personally, but that's just me. Still quite a nice looking steelbook. And then, because this is only 2 discs, the interior and presentation of this steelbook has been done a little differently as well. So with the previous missing episode steelbooks, they would come in these little cardboard things, as I have shown with the Web of Fear, but if we were to take it out, because there is 3 discs, it just comes in a case kind of like this, with the discs kind of presented like this, and then the booklet itself kind of tucks into the back of the cardboard case, just in between the steelbook and the cardboard back itself. However, since the Web of Fear here is only 2 discs, it actually has the booklet on the interior of the steelbook for a bit of a change, which is interesting. So removing that for a moment, we have the first disc here. This has all the surviving episodes and the animated episode 3, black and white, with bonus features. And then here you have second disc with the animated episode 3 and bonus features. And then there you've got the back of the steelbook, which kind of thankfully hides the horrid animation. So then, taking a look at the booklet, we have that lovely cover art once again there. Oh boy, and then yikes, there's the animation there. Jesus Christ, that's not something to be proud of. So there you've got a picture from the animation and a picture from the original production, with an introduction by Gary Russell, production notes with a still image from the animation, and the sort of original production again with production notes. More production notes there, a very startled and fake looking Travers, and the Travers from the original TV production. And then there you've got another still from the original production. Disc contents, the Web of Fear restored versions of the 5 existing episodes and animated reconstructions of episode 3 in black and white with the following options. So then, audio commentary, disc 2, the Web of Fear animated reconstruction of episode 3 in colour with the same optional audio commentary on disc 1. The Missing Years, a 1998 documentary concerning the lost and recovery of episodes of Doctor Who presented by Fraser Hines and Deborah Watling. The Web of Fear, a reconstruction of episode 3 from off-screen telesnaps and soundtrack recordings. Photo gallery, Going Underground, the making of the Web of Fear. Shapeshifter animation process, the pitch video for the Web of Fear. A trailer, the many voices of Jack Woolgar, and scripts. So that's a bit unusual, because see here, yeah, on the back of this here, it doesn't list all of the special features, but on the Power of the Daleks special edition, it does say plus many more, if it couldn't fit in all of the special features into its little list here. So that's another kind of unusual thing about this release. And then we have the back there, which just has various casts and credits for the original production and the new missing episode animated release. So there was my kind of overview and unboxing of the Web of Fear special edition. A very dubious and kind of sketchy missing episode release, I think, is the best way of putting it, but it's 1960s Doctor Who. For me, I kind of have to get it. It's another missing episode steelbook. I've collected them all already, despite this one not being the best, but yeah, I'm still happy to have it in the collection. It's another nice kind of collector's piece for the 60s portion of my collection, and I do have a bit of a soft spot for the Web of Fear anyways, as it is basically a second Doctor ghost story. But yeah, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pitch Skull Black dematerializing.